Assalamu alaikum. Let's cook. People, sometimes I like to go back and look at the outcomes of some of the stories that I covered on the original Runaway Slave channel. And there was one story out of the city of Philadelphia that I covered. There's a black youth, a young black man by the name of Robert Davis. Now, Robert Davis, black teenager in the city of Philadelphia, you know, hard life, poverty, you know, all that. And there was a white man by the name of Josh Kruger who had taken advantage of him. Actually, this white man was taking advantage of him since the age of 15. They were in some kind of relationship. You get what I'm saying? So this guy, Josh Kruger, he's one of those colonizers in the city. You know, them gentrification mayo monsters. Eventually, Robert Davis, the young black teenager at the age of 19, he took this white guy out of here. He took him out of here, Josh Kruger, for whatever reason. But when the media covered this story, it was all about Josh Kruger being this great guy, you know, who worked in the media, who overcame all these issues, and he was just trying to help a poor little black boy, and he helps poor people. Listen to how they covered it.
With a murder warrant, Philadelphia police are searching for a suspect in the killing of a journalist and activist in Point Breeze. This man, 19-year-old Robert Davis, is wanted for the fatal shooting of Josh Kruger early Monday morning. Investigators say the two were acquaintances and that Kruger was actually trying to help Davis. It is Friday afternoon. I'm Sarah Bloomquist.
And I'm Brian Taft. The big story on Action News today is those new developments in the murder of Josh Kruger. Police identified Davis as a suspect just hours after friends and family gathered for a vigil in Kruger's honor last night.
Action News reporter Annie McCormick is live now outside of Philadelphia Police headquarters. Annie, you've been on the story all day, and what's the update?
Yeah, and police are urging that suspect to turn himself in. They're also urging members of the public that know him to notify police if they know his whereabouts.
We have identified Mr. Robert Davis, a 19-year-old.
A Philadelphia man accustomed to reporting the news has sadly become the news, another victim of violence in our city.
Journalist and activist Josh Kruger was killed inside of his own home in the early hours yesterday morning. He contributed to the Philadelphia Inquirer and many other publications, and also he was involved in city government. It was in the mayor's office at one point in time. And so instead of, you know, having his own byline as he normally would, this is a headline. And this made news across the country.
Sure did. And his loved ones planned his funeral. And police are obviously looking for his killer. This morning we're joined by Kendall Stevens. Kendall, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
You're a friend of Josh.
Yes.
Before we go too much further, how would you describe him?
I would describe him as adventurous, someone who was compassionate, kind, someone that was fierce, you know, brave in reporting the news, brave in the way that he lived, and was unapologetic.
Yeah, Josh Kruger, all this great stuff he's doing, right? But nothing about him sexually exploiting black children in the city. Remember, Robert Davis was 19 when he did this, but when they started this relationship, said he was 15. This happens all the time. And you see it in these cities, you know, where you have all these colonizers coming in, doing their whole gentrification thing. You see these people taking advantage of these black children all the time. All the time. Now, here's Robert Davis' people.
Breeze back in October of last year. But today, Davis's mom spoke out, calling for evidence in the case to get a harder look, and not just for her son's sake. Our Kelly Rule reports.
D'Amica Davis says she commends her son, now 20-year-old,
October of last year. But today, Davis's mom spoke out, calling for evidence in the case to get a harder look, and not just for her son's sake. Our Kelly Rule reports.
D'Amica Davis says she commends her son, now 20-year-old Robert Davis, for taking accountability. He's expected to appear in court next week and plead guilty to third-degree murder, among other charges, in the 2023 shooting death of a city journalist and advocate, Josh Kruger, in his Point Breeze home. But she doesn't want it to end there.
Instead of providing us with the evidence, they rather just lock my son up for 15 to 30 years and close the case and not even do any kind of investigation on this man and his actions and what
part he played, what role he played.
Court documents obtained by Fox 29 state that evidence recovered from Kruger's cell phone revealed that Kruger and Davis were in an intimate sexual relationship. Davis's mother, who called a press conference today, claims the relationship started when Davis was 15 years old and involved drugs that she says he is still addicted to. She says she's concerned about other vulnerable children. With the guilty plea, it's possible those details will not ever be revealed publicly in court.
I commend him for that. I just really wish that there was something else in place where as though he didn't have to serve 15 to 30 years for protecting himself. Because I wasn't there, his brothers wasn't there to protect him. He definitely had to protect himself. I don't want the evidence that they found in this man's phone just to get swept under the rug.
Kruger spent 5 years in city government before returning to journalism in 2021, where his writing was featured in a variety of local publications, including the Philadelphia Inquirer. His website mentions his work for a number of causes, including criminal justice reform. Davis's mom says she wants her son to get drug and mental health treatment. She says she has spoken with some of Kruger's family members.
She's out of a son and I'm out of a son as well. But all of this could have been avoided if hurt people didn't hurt people.
Philadelphia police tell me the evidence recovered did not incite investigations into...
Yeah, and I agree with his mom. See, they sweeping the whole story, the real problem, under the rug. Now, don't get me wrong. If Robert Davis unjustly took this man's life at the age of 19, you know, he has to do some time for it, whatever. He probably didn't even have the chance to say, listen, this was self-defense. Who knows what happened? Who knows what happened? But when they gave him that, you know, that offer, he had to take that third-degree murder regardless, because these people were going to roast him. Who knows what was going on when he pulled out the gun and shot that dude? You never know, man. But he wasn't going to have a say-so on that. They gave him that offer. He had to take it. Now, these white folks out here, instead of looking at the real problem, which is these white folks exploiting black teenagers and children in the city and other places, in every city. You can see this anywhere. People in the D.C. area, different parts of New Jersey where they gentrifying cities, Philadelphia, wherever, you know, New York. Whenever you see white people coming in, gentrifying, they are taking advantage of these young people. And I don't know what's going on with the girls. Maybe the white women are doing this to the black girls too. But I know it's very obvious that these white guys, because a lot of these gentrification yuppies, they're lizards, man. They're homo, you know what I mean? They're rainbow lizards and stuff. They're taking advantage of these poor black boys who they see working at the Starbucks, working here, working there. They come in like some big white heroes, start buying them little things, and some of these boys ain't right in the head. Maybe they are into that already. Maybe some things happened to them when they was little. Maybe some of them are like, hey, I might as well try it and get this money. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But this is what they're doing. This other guy, Ed Buck, remember the story with this guy, Ed Buck? He was the big time prominent Democrat Party donator. He gave more than $500,000 to all these Democrat politicians. He was doing that stuff out in California. You know, black men just found dead in his apartment, 2 of them, one in 2017 and one in 2019. Yeah, he was giving them, you know, money and stuff like that, getting them high. They were overdosing, dying in his crib. And then they finally caught up with this dude because of the pattern of what he was doing. But that's what these guys do. That's what these guys do. It's disgusting. And just like the young brother's mom said, like, listen, man, this is a real problem. Like, why can't we get into what's really going on here? So guys like Ed Buck can do that. And who knows how many more people that Ed Buck did this to. He's got money. He can do that. And when you're dealing with poor kids in these cities, I mean, money to them might be, you know, some gift certificates or something like that. You know, $300 worth of gift certificates. They can go get some gadgets, get some food and stuff like that. You never know. A 15-year-old, you never know. But this guy right here, he was doing this to this Ed Buck, this Mayo monster. He was doing this to grown men. But he was, and you know, I can't even say that. I don't know how old they were when Ed Buck started doing this and who else he was doing this with. These are just the ones he got caught for. But he was killing these dudes, you know what I mean? Giving them overdose and they were dying and stuff like that. Disgusting. But people, that's what goes on. These are the things that they don't like to talk about. These are white men doing this, white American men. I don't care what side of the, whatever they're on, whether they say they're conservatives or Democrats or whatever these people, snowball fights, whatever. They all into the same thing. They just have different ways of doing it. People get in the comments, link in the description to my masterpiece, The N-Word is No Secret in the Service. Also, link to the email list. Go ahead and get on that just in case YouTube start doing their YouTube thing. Easy.